This happens all the time with the lives, with the pro fishing tournaments, and I'm a participant. I'll be full disclosure, try to be as honest as possible in these videos. So you're watching it, they're on your home lake or a lake that you fish that's near your house, and dude, you see freaking Joe like Bassmaster, and he's on this dock, and you're like, bro, I know exactly where that is. And he's freaking smoking them, dude, one after the other. He found maybe like a brush pile outside. He's found some little like nuance thing. He's catching them. So the next day, tournament ends, the next 2 weeks, that dock gets hammered, boy. Like freaking Joe weekend fisherman, Bob from down the street, his wife, their cousin, everybody makes a hit on that dock, dude. And everybody catches a couple, It's maybe not as good as it is in the tournament, but like everyone catches them. And all of a sudden, this little sneak hole becomes a community hole. That's the transition period. That's how that stuff works. So it happens a lot with these Bassmaster lives, with MLF live, all these kind of like live tournament postings, because guys are seeing these spots on their lakes, they're recognizing it, and then they're going to fish it. So I have kind of a question, and I think I kind of know the answer, but I wanted to crowdsource it to you because I don't know exactly what I think about it. I shoot these YouTube videos. You guys are watching one right now. I try to be as open, as honest as possible. I share literally like exactly what I'm catching them on. I show you where I'm fishing. I try to put a camera in the back, get a wide view, and then I have the chesty to kind of give like the full context. I want as much information in the videos as possible because I like it, because I think it's cool to capture that moment, catching a fish, learning something. But I also am trying to nobody like taught me very much about fishing. I had a couple like mentors when I was younger and that, but when I was a kid, all those like magazines and stuff you'd read, all the content was garbage, dude. They basically lie to you, and it pissed me off. So I wanted to make stuff where it's like, this might be applicable to you. This might help you on your lake. If you want to watch it, watch it. If you don't, see you later. Have a nice day. So I've posted some videos, over the past year, and I showed a couple areas that, I'll be totally frank, like, there's a couple things like the people on Gunnersville and some of those TVA lakes they didn't know about. I'm not saying like I know all these secret spots, because I don't, but posted a few things, and like they're sneaky, right? Like sneaky little spots. So the other day I was out there and I saw some people on them. And I'm like, okay, whatever, it is what it is. But it got me kind of thinking about like a concept. And people are always going to, fish stuff that they see, just like in those MLF live tournaments, those Bass Open or those Bass Live tournaments, when they show everything, you're going to go fish that dock. You're going to do that. One, I guess my question is it right to do that? Is it right to go and fish something that you saw shown? Like when I put a video on YouTube, if I show like a spot or something, is it right to go and fish that? Like that, I guess that's my primary question. And then the secondary thing is, I always try to learn. You use things as like jumping off points, right? I've had a lot of mentors, especially as I got older when it came to fishing, like show me tricks. And the thing that always sort of like ate me is like, dude, you showed me this spot, now I can't fish it. And it was like, I had this really weird sort of relationship with guys showing me juicy stuff. And then I'm like, now I can't fish this because it's not mine, like I got to go find something. But it actually made me, I think, kind of better, because these guys would show me stuff. Like for instance, like there's a little like pencil grass clump. On Okeechobee we fish these pencil grass flats, and even on like some of these smaller Florida lakes and that, you buzz like a Big Easy. You throw, like a top water bait and you fish it super fast, like buzzing it through the grass. Like that used to be sneaky back in the day. And they'll show you these things, and then you're like, dude, I took a lot away from that. Like I understand kind of how the cover's set up. I understand like what they're doing. But now I want to use that as a jumping off point. And I want to go find my own little groove for this, my own little place, my own little niche. I want to maybe tweak some of the easy presentations, maybe use like an owner beast hook instead of just, a Texas rig hook, like an offset shank. Like you want to kind of take a pattern and own it, whether it's where it's happening or how you're doing it from a rigging and a technique standpoint. But I don't know, I guess I wonder, and I reflect kind of on where like guys, like kind of how they look at these YouTube videos. Like when you're watching one of my videos, are you watching it to see where I'm fishing, to try to like fish a spot? Or are you watching it to like maybe get an understanding of a technique, or like the context, like whether you're on a structure, is he on a point, like with brush, with a dock, does that apply to my lake? Are you trying to like take that and sort of reapply it to where you're fishing? or to find your own juice. You know, maybe you live around Gunnersville and you're like, man, I think he's fishing a ledge that has some grass on it. Let me focus on trying to find some of these ledges that have a little bit of grass sticking up, maybe a foot or two off the bottom, and target those and see if I can't find my own place. It's just kind of like an ethical question that I have. And dude, everybody's guilty of it. Don't get me wrong. Like I know I've like seen some spots where I'm like, dude, I know where that is and I fished it, but I never looked at it like that. Or things along those lines when you're watching like the live on the tournament fishing and then you're like, I want to explore this. But I think one thing I've always kind of held myself to is I'll do that, explore it and understand it. But my main goal is to sort of grow it. Like I want to take this knowledge, make it my own, repackage it, and go idle the whole lake and like find some more stuff like that. Find that sneaky dock. I want to cover 20 docks so I can find another one of those one and only unique, awesome docks. And that's always been my opinion. But I do see in fishing, like guys want to like take stuff more. And I don't think that's totally right. They want to like grab a spot. They want to grab a waypoint. They want to grab, you know, like whatever they see on live, they want to grab it and freaking just go and snake it up without actually putting in a lot of the work that goes into, I guess, exploring it. And it's funny too, because the work of finding and exploring, that process is what's actually taught me a lot about how to find fish in other ways. It might not be the exact same technique, the exact same like cover, you know, grass, rock bar, you know, a little point jutting out, but the process a lot of times is the same, where you kind of, you find this little, you get a bite, you know, you find this little kind of niche, you get a bite and you're like, why is that fish here? What's going on? And you continue down the bank and you get another bite and you're like, hold up, dude, let's put the power poles down and take a pause. You know, that first bite came off like the third pole on a dock back. And that second bite came off like the fifth pole back. And then you look at the two docks and those two poles are both about like 20 foot back. And then you look at the depth and you're like, both those poles are in like 6 or 7 feet of water. Then all of a sudden you go down like 2 more docks and you're like, there's like 6 or 7 feet of water next to that fourth pole. You pitch your bait in there and you catch one. Like that process of going through and like analyzing like what's happening. Like, why are these fish biting? Like, what am I seeing? Like, what's happening around me? What kind of cover's there? What kind of, like, context, what kind of structures are sort of setting these fish up? And what do I need to look for more of? Or how do I expand this? And that process is so important because it allows us to go on these different lakes. You know, I fish Gunnersville, I fish Wheeler, I fish Pickwick, I fish a bunch of little highland impoundments in Tennessee, I fish Smith Lake. And then I came from Florida, dude. And then I have some background in Wisconsin. These are all like very different lakes. There's likenesses between them, but they set up very, very differently. But I find that process, maybe it's not exactly the same on every lake, but you kind of get in this sort of, you find your wheelhouse where you kind of find that pattern and you have that process that you go through. It doesn't work every time because that's fishing, but you have sort of a strategy that you develop because you've gone through that process so many times and found success in certain ways. And that strategy you can apply to frickin' little lake down the road, big lake up the road, and you sort of use that in developing that strategy. You know, it takes more than just kind of like grabbing spots that you see on stuff. But that's my question. You know, I know I put the videos out there. It's on me. If I don't want to show my spots, it's freaking my problem, dude, and I should stop posting videos. But I was just curious what your opinion is and how you approach it. Do you go fish stuff that you see guys fishing on YouTube? Do you go fish stuff that you see, like if it's your home lake that they're fishing for one of those big national tournaments and they're running live? Do you go fish that stuff? Or do you just kind of grab the information, maybe scan it, maybe look around at it and be like, I see what you're doing, and then take it and apply it to different parts of the lake? Let me know down in the comments. I'm very curious about your opinion because I think there's a lot of different perspectives on this right now. But hit that like and subscribe button for me, or hit that dislike button too if you don't like any of the things that I'm saying, because I am open to being chastised. I don't really care. I like kind of ideas, and I like going through this process, understanding what you think and understanding the direction fishing is going. I'm going to go fishing though. We're on a beautiful lake. I'm going to go try to catch some bass. We will see you back out on the water talking fishing and talking some fishing ethics probably.